Ed.
Well, it's so great to be here with aSweatLife and with this wonderful community and with Pat here on accompaniment. So the yoga class format that I invented during the quarantine. And the idea is that yoga can be taken anywhere. It doesn't have to be done on a mat in your Lululemon clothes. You can actually be mindful just right in bed when you wake up in the morning, or maybe while you're in line for a bus or for some grocery items. You can bring the mindfulness with you. So if you're in your bed now, that's great. Wherever you choose to set up, find yourself in a comfortable position. We're going to use that idea of gratitude that we started off with as a way to center yourself and bring yourself into a state of gratitude. So please start to lie down and feel yourself just connect in to your bed, into your seat. Close your eyes and bring to mind support and nurturing. Can you think of the mother figure in your life and a time they provided nurture and support for you? And allow yourself to ease into that comfort. Close your eyes and you'll observe your body. The air coming in the nose, down into the windpipe, expanding into the lungs, and reversing.
Okay, so those guys are looking for a life.
Of breath. Feel a rise of the belly. And then the belly will draw in towards the spot as you start to soften through the brow, feet, down in the support of your mind starts to wander. Come back to those thoughts of nurturing, support, and gratitude. Into this meditation in silence, following the words and allow your body to be heavy, sinking down into the bed, realizing this is where you need to be at this present moment. Count, inhale, whatever that count is, perhaps number 4 or 5. Take a pause and match your exhale to the same count. Equal part breath. Simple way to bring a symmetry to your breathing. The breath is a powerful, something that can happen with just our observation, or something that you can control. And by controlling the breath, you can get access to other systems of your body that, like the central nervous system. So as you match the inhale to the exhale, start to soften through the body.
So let's run away. Just meet me in Chicago. We can fly to New York City. build an empire of our own. So let's run away. Just meet me in Chicago. We can drive to San Francisco. We're a golden arms away. So let's run away. Just meet me in Seattle. Or down to Austin, Texas. Oh, these miles and miles away. So let's run away. Just meet me in Chicago, where we'll dance away. Where we'll dance away.
Start to move your fingers, move your wrists, move your toes and your ankles. Morning stretch up over knees in. Let the knees fall from one side to the other. Stretching out through the chest, the shoulders. Then hug your knees. Give yourself a big hug. Rock gently side to side. Alright then. Your knees out slightly wide. Arms to the inside. Grab your ankles, your shins, or the outside of the feet. And rock side to side. Bring a sense of playfulness here. Sense of childlike exploration. You move the feet, or perhaps release them. Take the hands down freely. Close your eyes. Let breathing deeply and slowly. Take your legs up to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhale, use your core. Press out through the heels as you lower the legs down to hover. Draw them back up again. Exhale to hover. I'll be giving you some different exercises you can do here in your bed, moving mindfully with the breath. Then you'll have an opportunity to explore some of these exercises on your own. And bending knees in and then pressing heels up and lowering legs straight. Have your hands on your belly and your chest, or you can press down. Keep this so the next time you bring your legs up, take them out and then start to flutter them, working your inner thighs. Then come back up. Engaging your core. Another round there. Move the leg back. Little exhales as you press the hips up. Then exhale out through the mouth. Good. Then bend the knees. Take the arms out to a T. Use your core to let them hug over to the side. Inhale to the center. Exhale, other side. Then you can perform these movements on your own or follow along with me. Hands behind the head, elbow to a knee. And switch extension. Inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale, and last thing you can do is little rocks, rocking yourself up, down, down. Now, for some of these movements, just on or follow along with me. Listen to Pat again.
When we were younger, we thought everyone was on the side. Then we grew a little and romanticized the time I saw flowers in your hair. Takes a boy to live, takes a man to pretend he was there. So we grew a little, knew a lot, and now we demonstrate it to the cops and all the things we said. We were self-assured. See, it's a long road to wisdom, it's a short one to being ignored. So be in my eye, be in my heart. So be in my eye, be in my heart. So now I'm thinking maybe I love you back. Hope it's not too late. 'Cause you're so attractive in the way you move. I won't close my eyes. Takes a boy to live, takes a woman to make him compromise. So be in my eye, be in my heart. So be in my eye, be in my heart. So be in my eye, be in my heart. Be in my eye, be in my heart.
Take your feet and stop them down onto the bed with your knees up. Place your hands down next to your hips. Tuck your chin in or close your eyes. Take a big breath in. Exhale, press your hips up. Exhale, press. Withdrawing hamstrings to press down into the bed to lift the hips. It's a really nice counter to the forward. You get on your back. Your heart, shoulders, and chest. Get a good start with your mother's day. Open yourself up. New possibilities. New opportunities. New compassion for yourself and those around you. Next time you press your hips up, with your hand interlace the hands underneath. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. One more big. And exhale, lower down. Put your knees in and then rock forward. A little bit. Rock yourself all the way up to a seat. If you come up here and out, like that a little bit, and be on top of your bed. Once you get guide your system movements like we did on our back, and then you'll have enough time to explore those movements on your own. Press into the back, and then inhale, lift the heart, lift the tail, and exhale around. Inhale, open up. Exhale. Daddy down. Inhale with the heart. Exhale, round the way back. Inhale with the heart, lift the tail, and exhale. And after this, inhale, open. Exhale, close. And then inhale, rise on up. And exhale, child's. Inhale with the heart. Exhale, round. And inhale with the heart, lift the tail. Exhale, back to child's pose. And then inhale, rise up. And release. Come back. Out. Out. Child. Rising up. Candlestick. Now, with candlestick, you can take your hands onto your hips, press the hips forward, open up through the throat, and exhale. Back to child. You come up, leg long, right there, lift it up, and exhale. Elbow to side. This is challenging at the bed. We'll explore the other side. Press right heel back, straighten out the leg. Up the arm raises. Inhale. Yeah, those movements on. The other movement you can do, the elbow and lift the shin. Fire hydrant. More time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. These guys on the other side. Opening up should parallel. So I'll start to guide you through how you can put these together in a flow. And then we'll bring back Pat with his lovely guitar and voice. Open. Inhale always to opening and exhaling, drawing it.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles return into their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, The smiles return into their faces, yeah. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. It's alright. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright.
Good. If you did something on one side, make sure you finish out your other side. Inhaling to open, exhaling out all the way. Take a couple breaths either in a child's pose, or you can have your hips lifted, walking your hands up. Couple breaths. Come on up. Now you can actually get off of your bed. Start to shake out your legs, shake out your arms. And rounding down your to find your connection down to the floor. Use your bed for a couple stretches. Stretching the arms out long. Reach it back. Stretching your chest. So breathing in. Good. I'll mirror you. Take your left thigh up on top of your head. Walk your back right leg back to the right hip. Pigeon pose on your bed. Just as you tap to the right side. Stand here, opening through your heart, presenting yourself for this day. Gratitude and openness. Or you bow down to gratitude, your nurturing. You are supported. Your family, your friends. By your compassion for yourself. More breaths into the head. Walk yourself up. Come back, and then you can take the left leg out. This hamstring stretch. This can be used to get assistance to a half foot. Be gentle with yourself in the morning, and then stretch through the bottom of the left hamstring. Pull the left hip back, and then fold the torso slightly. Coming out of the pose with just as much intention as you came into it. Pull the hips back and take right leg. The whole shin and knee comes up to the bed, and the left foot walks back, press back to the left hip. Where the hips, presenting yourself and smiling and press into this right side. Where can you let go? Try to extend your exhale, breathe. Sending messages that it's okay. Like it. Work yourself back up, leaving the right leg on the bed. And explore the hamstring flexibility on this side. Being gentle and compassionate. Breathing deeply into the right hamstring. A couple breaths into this side. You're acknowledging gratitude to yourself, those who nurture you and provide you the support you need. Everything you need is right now at the very present moment. Ready? part of this week. On your bed. Do some work to prepare yourself for this day. Can you take this day forward with you in gratitude, compassion for yourself, compassion for those around you? Let's take 2 breaths together. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Big breath in. Exhale. I want to thank you so much for practicing yoga in bed with me. Again, my name's Eric Tenfelde, bringing yoga in bed through Bottom Line Yoga. I want to thank Kelly at aSweatLife, and thanks to Pat for the lovely music. The inner light in me sees the inner light in all of you. Namaste.
Thank you, Eric. That was lovely and so much fun. What a great way to start off our morning. We are now going to head to the kitchen with Chef Kendra Peterson, who's gonna demo a pancake in a cake pan for our brunch. So if you want to take your computer, take your head in a square to the kitchen, we are gonna bake a little bit this morning, and Pat's gonna stay with us to end our day with a little music at the very end. So I will spotlight Kendra. Thank you, Eric. Feel free to stay with us to cook. Kendra, you are on.
Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. I hope that you are celebrating in the most relaxing, beautiful, Zen way. Now that you've done this awesome yoga practice, you should feel very centered and calm, just in time to head to the kitchen. But don't worry, because this recipe is very easy. I literally can do it with one hand because I have a broken wrist. So if I can do it with one hand, I know you can all do it very easily. It is really starting with this awesome mix from Simple Mills, which if you haven't tried it and you haven't tried their other mixes, they're really great. I actually, I use their pizza crust a ton, and I use their flatbread a lot to make like a focaccia. So they have really great clean mixes. And I was super stoked when the ladies over at aSweatLife asked me to do something with their mixes, because I think they're just, the ingredients are great. You don't need to feel bad about anything that's in it. And it allows us to make this super fun recipe today. So instead of standing at the stove and flipping a bunch of pancakes, or asking your children to do that to make you breakfast, which will only ensue in a big mess, this recipe is basically made in one bowl and it's baked in one dish. So you make a pancake as opposed to individual pancakes. So it's very, very easy. You are going to start with this mix. We're going to add 5 eggs. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of neutral oil. All that means it's oil that doesn't have any sort of taste to it. So like a vegetable oil, a sunflower oil, safflower oil would be great. Or if you can do dairy, you could do melted butter, you can do melted coconut oil. And then the recipe that I originally did was a 1/3 cup of milk. I'm actually going to increase that to a 1/2 cup of dairy-free milk or regular milk, whichever is available to you. If you already measured out a 1/3 cup, that's fine, no problem. But if you have the ability to add another couple tablespoons to make it a 1/2 cup, I just think it makes the recipe a little bit better. If you want to throw some vanilla in, go for it. Vanilla makes everything better. But that's the base of the recipe. It's super easy. So I'm going to give everyone maybe a minute to gather your ingredients. And the thing is, it's so easy. So once you gather your ingredients, crack your eggs. Again, if I can do it with one hand, you guys can do it with 2 hands. So crack your eggs into a big bowl. I already have mine right here, as you can see. And then what we are going to do is add in our oil. We're going to add in our milk. And then we're just going to add in the entire box of that pancake and waffle mix. So that's the nice thing. It's kind of just like dump and stir, which are the easiest recipes to do. So if anyone has questions, let me know. I see Gina making a face at me like, what the hell am I doing?
I'm cracking my eggs right over my computer.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I think somebody asked a question of how many cups are in the mix total, maybe. the full box, I'm not entirely sure. On the back of the box, it does actually tell you how much mix is in for 6 servings, 12 servings, 20 servings. So maybe 2.5 cups. I'm not entirely sure. This is what it says on the back. So if you only want to do half of this recipe, does anybody want to do just half of this recipe? Is everybody doing the whole recipe? I think we're all probably doing the whole recipe. If for some reason you just wanted to do half, don't stress out about the eggs. Use 3 eggs. Don't feel like you have to measure 2.5 eggs. This is a stress-free recipe. Okay, so I have my eggs whisked. I'm gonna try to turn the camera down so you guys can see what I'm actually doing here. Hopefully I'll be able to get that.
Kendra, should we preheat our ovens?
You should be preheating your oven. It should be at 400 degrees.
On it.
Yeah. And the other thing you can do too is if you have parchment paper, I always like to line my baking sheets with and dishes. I've got a little parchment paper lined in there, if you can see that. If you don't have parchment paper, that is totally fine. Just add a little bit extra of that oil onto the bottom of the pan that you're gonna bake this in. Now, the recipe calls for a 9x13, which is just like a brownie pan, or you know, when you make like an oblong cake, that's what you're gonna bake it in. I have this really cute little dish that I'm gonna put it in. It's not quite 9x13. So all that means is my pancakes are gonna bake maybe a little bit longer and they're gonna be really fluffy and big. Okay, let's bring you back over here. So I've got, let's see. Oh, that's better. Okay, I've got my eggs right here. They're all whisked. I hope everyone has their eggs whisked. Then we're going to add in our 3 tablespoons of neutral oil or melted coconut oil or melted butter. Okay. I'm gonna pop that right in. Give it a little whisk, whisk, whisk. Then we're gonna add in our 1/2 cup of dairy-free milk or regular milk if you're able to have cow's milk. And again, the recipe that we sent out originally said a 1/3 cup. I just increased it yesterday when I was doing the recipe testing on this. If you already measure out a 1/3 cup, that's totally fine. Use that for today, no problem. All right, we're gonna whisk that in. I see mixing, I see measuring. This makes me very happy. Everyone doing okay? Thumbs up? Great, great, okay. All right, so then I already cut this bag open because cutting left-handed with a right-handed scissors takes a long time, everyone. So I already cut this open, and we are just going to sprinkle it in and whisk until it is blended. You don't want to over whisk this. If you've ever made pancakes or waffles or any kind of quick bread before, you know in the instructions you're not supposed to over whisk it. The reason is the leavening agent, so the baking powder or the baking soda, starts to work immediately when it hits liquid. And if you whisk it too much, it's just too much time, and then it ends up over rising and sinking to this like gelatinous gummy situation. So that is good. I am done whisking. It is smooth. Kind of smells like graham crackers almost. I think it's from the coconut sugar that's in the mix. All right, and then all you're gonna do is pour that into your prepared pan. That's it. So let's get this in here. Beautiful. Okay.
Kendra, that was impressive pouring.
Oh, thanks. I've gotten really good at using my left hand for so many things. I can't even tell you. No, you did not miss that, Amanda Brown. The coconut milk is not in the batter. The coconut cream is actually for a whipped coconut cream that we're gonna put on top. So good question. Don't worry, save that, and the powdered sugar, that is gonna be our next step. Okay, so we've got our batter in our pan. Now, I like blueberries baked in my pancakes. So I'm gonna add a handful of blueberries in there. You do not need to. Here's where you can customize this recipe. If you want to throw in some cinnamon, if you want to put in a few scoops of nut butter, if you wanna add some brown sugar, this is where you can totally make this yours. I would probably stir a little bit more. The question was, is lumps in the batter okay? I'd probably stir it a little bit more just to make sure you get those lumps out. Maybe like 5 or 6 more stirs. And a whisk will definitely help get lumps out when you're making a batter like this. Okay, so you can see my little dotted blueberries. Now this is gonna puff up, so you don't necessarily see the blueberries on top after it's baked, but once you cut into that tasty little pancake, you're gonna see them in there. So I'm going to put this in the oven. Then we're gonna come back. I'm gonna keep answering your questions. We're gonna make that coconut cream and then be all set for our delicious brunch today. Now, if you have your pancake ready, it's in the oven, you're gonna set your timer for 20 minutes, and then you're gonna check on it after that. You might need more time, that is fine. It's always better to check on it early though. So you can pull it out if you need to, or you can turn it, you can just jazz it and fix it up, whichever way you need. So I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes. All right. I still see some mixing. I see some moms that are that are happy and smiling at me. That makes me happy. All right. It's so fun. Oh, those are beautiful flowers, Judith. I love seeing all of this. This is great. This is great. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the coconut cream. Don't worry if you're still mixing and you haven't gotten it in. I'm going to talk you through the coconut cream mixture first because we actually had a question before we started the class. And so I'm going to talk about that because the coconut cream takes 2 seconds. So you guys keep doing you. Get your mixes done, get your cake in the oven, and we're going to talk coconut. Now, the deal with the coconut cream is that it's actually meant to be a substitute for whipped cream. You can have whipped cream and you love it. Great, do it. You do you. If you want to try this luscious coconut whipped cream in lieu of that, this is how you're going to do it. Now, you'll see the recipe called for coconut cream, which is different than coconut milk. But don't fret. If you only have coconut milk, you're going to put the whole can in the oven or in the fridge. Hopefully you already did that. Overnight is best because, and you guys will all know if you've used a can of coconut milk before, it separates. You get that really thick coconut cream on top, typically, and then you get another layer of the liquid. So what you want for this recipe is just that thick cream. So if you have a can of coconut milk, you're just gonna take a spoon and scoop off that thick cream. And it's gonna be this. This is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be that like kind of chunky, hard white part. Now, if you were able to find coconut cream, this is your little can. It still has some clear liquid in there. And I actually save that in case I want to just lighten this up a little bit. So for the coconut cream, you're gonna pop that in here. I'm gonna use a stand mixer because this, but you could totally use a hand mixer. I would not recommend using a whisk. It's too dense for you to actually hand whip it. So I'm gonna pop this in my KitchenAid over here. I'm gonna try to scoot you guys over so you can also see this. There we go. This is my favorite thing in my kitchen. It is a custom copper KitchenAid. I can't even tell you how much I love it. All right, so we're gonna pop that in there. I'm gonna lock it. And you're just gonna turn that baby on. It's not gonna seem like it's gonna do anything, but I promise it's gonna get fluffy. Especially if your coconut cream was cold. Just keep rocking away. Now, it's not going to have the same volume difference as regular heavy cream if you were to make a regular whipped cream. So don't be looking for that. You just want it to be smooth. You want it to be a little bit fluffier. And that's it. It's definitely more dense than a regular cream. So don't worry. I'm going to bring you in and show you what mine looks like. All right, mine looks beautiful. I don't want to overmix it because if you overmix it, it can actually create too much heat from the mixer paddle. So I'm going to turn that baby off. It looks nice and smooth. Now I am going to sprinkle in a little bit of powdered sugar. If you don't love sweet stuff and this is good enough for you, great, leave it like this. I also would recommend maybe adding a little vanilla if you like, or if you love almond, you could add some almond extract, which would be delicious. So I am just gonna take my cute little mesh sieve here. When you're using powdered sugar, you almost always wanna use a mesh sieve just to sprinkle it out because it ends up having so many lumps. You don't want lumps in your cream. All right. I can't tell you guys what progress this is with my broken wrist. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't have even moved my finger like this without pain. So it's very exciting for me.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. This is probably about 2 tablespoons that I just sprinkled in there. I'm just going to throw it back in here to mix in that powdered sugar with the coconut cream. And that's it. It's so fun. It's a really fun recipe. Really fun recipe to do. Right. Delicious. You could also add some cinnamon in here if you wanted to make some cinnamon cream, which would be awesome. All right. Of course, you need to taste it before you serve it. Very important, everybody. Perfect amount of cream. Perfect amount of sweetener. Oh, great. I'm going to put this in a bowl for serving. Oh my gosh, I love coconut so much. Growing up, my mom used to always make us this like Bisquick coconut pie. Like you just mix it all together and somehow the Bisquick would sink to the bottom and it would make the crust. I mean, I'm aghast now that that was what I used to eat, but coconut always makes me think of her and that baking, which was, it was fun. Okay. All right, so let's get a bowl. This is always the challenge, is getting things from one container to the other. Let's see, this bowl isn't too heavy. All right. And I am using some of my favorite bowls. My mom actually died when I was 8. And I was always in the kitchen with her. I think part of the reason why I'm a chef now is because it reminds me of her. And when she passed, dragonflies always appeared around me everywhere. So I'm using my dragonfly bowl today to celebrate my mom. And of course, I'll be in the kitchen, which I know she's always out there judging me and making sure I'm doing all the right things in the kitchen. Okay, so through the magic of Zoom TV sort of world, I already have a pancake ready for us to go. So let me pull that out and show you everybody. Ta-da! There it is. I made it in this really pretty oval pan because I also wanted to show you guys, don't stress out if you don't have the exact pan for this recipe, because I didn't. I made it in here. It's gorgeous. And it's going to be just fine. I'm all about stress-free cooking these days. So there we go. That's a better shot. There it is. Gorgeous. It smells so good. So our toppings that we have, I have some beautiful strawberries. I have some more blueberries. I also have an orange that we can zest. Fresh mint is really delicious on there. Of course, maple syrup. Of course, our coconut cream. And then I also, because I love coconut, I actually toasted some coconut flakes to put on top after. So I'm going to serve myself up one little portion, and I'm going to show you how I like to enjoy this pancake. Now, get yourself a nice bowl. See, there we go. That's better. I'm gonna use a spoon. If you want to use if you want to cut it in squares and use a pancake flipper to open it, cool. But however you want to scoop this delicious situation out. Oh my gosh. Yummy. Yummy. You guys see, so the blueberries are baked in there. They're nice and like juicy and bursting with yummy blueberry flavor. All right, so I'm gonna do a nice big, I gotta get this over. There we go. I'm gonna do a nice big scoop of that coconut cream. I'm gonna put some of these strawberries that I cut. I'm gonna do a few little blueberries. The more the merrier, I feel like, with fruit, right? Although I think when I was a kid, I was like, don't touch fruit and my French toast or my pancakes. I just want like maple syrup and pancakes. And then I'm going to do some toasted coconut and then maybe a little powdered sugar. And there we go.
Yum.
There it is. So I hope you had fun. I hope your oven smells delicious with your pancake baking in there. I posted the recipe and some photos this morning on my blog. So if you go to drizzlekitchen.com, you can get the recipe itself. There's also a few substitutions if you happen to be making this for somebody with food allergies. But yeah, the recipe's up there. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Enjoy this delicious pancake and make sure your moms get extra coconut cream. They deserve it.
Thank you, Kendra. That was so great. I'm still working on mine.
It's going to be great when it's done, I promise.
All right, perfect. Well, we have a couple more minutes before the 12 o'clock hour Central Time. So we are going to let Pat take us off with one or two more songs while you're finishing up baking. And take it away, Pat. Thanks so much, Kendra.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks, Kendra. And thanks, Eric. This was such kind of a special, unique day for me. Kind of brought some things that I'm comfortable with and put them with some things that I'm not so comfortable with. For Mother's Day, we always used to make breakfast in bed for my mom. Never did yoga in bed, but I just pulled my hamstring doing jumping jacks last week. So I think it's time for me to start getting on the yoga train. But thanks, YogaSix, for having me. My name's Pat McKillen. I'm going to do you a song of mine that I wrote that reminds me of family. I got this hat that my mom gave me here today, so I'm going to send this one out to my mama, and this one's called The Autumn Breeze.
You got something that I need. You still hide it up your sleeve. You want for something you can't have. Just a memory of photograph. Oh, la, na, 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 na. La, na, 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 na. So put your hands where I can see, and in my footprints follow me. If it's yours, could it be mine? If your sun goes down, my moon don't shine. Oh, na, 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 na. 'cause I've been drunk and I've been blind. I have thrown away half of my life. For years I wouldn't leave the shore, 'cause I was scared of wanting something more. But here it blows the autumn breeze. As winter waits on patiently. Ooh, na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Oh, na, 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 na. Na, yeah, yeah. Na, yeah, yeah, yeah. But no one knows me on these streets, 'cause they've moved along, they've made their peace. I wanted something I can have, just a memory photograph. Ooh, na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, na,